something going on. Freedom is in danger. Agents of the state, they taking children from the manger. Going on. Oh, they will sacrifice your kid. Take Brendan Dassey, that's exactly what they did. They needed someone, oh, Jody wouldn't flip. They looked around, saw him quick. Oh, it made so much sense why. Oh, Brendan Dassey, he was Stephen's alibi. There's something going on in Wisconsin that's not kosher. We better stop, let's all take a look closer. Oh, they will sacrifice your kid. Oh, Brendan Dassey, that's exactly what they did. They visit him once, they visit him twice. They make him feel so safe. Sandwiches, soda, so nice. No cameras rolling and under no lights. Who knows what went on up in Fox Hill Monday night? There's something going on. And freedom is in danger. Everything about this kid getting stranger and stranger. All we know, they will sacrifice your kid. Oh, Brendan Dassey, that's exactly what they did. March 1st, alone in a room with Bert and Ernie. No parent present and no attorney. 4 hours later, with a touch of the knee, they finally get Brendan to agree. There's something going on. I said there's something going on. Oh, they will sacrifice your kid. Take Brendan Dassey.
Hello, everybody.
What they did. There's something going on. I said freedom is in danger when the agents of the state can take the children from the manger. Oh, they will sacrifice your kid. Take Brendan Dassey.
That's exactly what they did.
Take Brendan Dassey. Oh, that's exactly what they did.
Hey, guys. So, I noticed some of you noticing the piece of artwork up there. This is one of the latest from Miss Susan and Sexton. And it was something that Mr. Capaldi and I had asked if she could maybe try to do. So she tried to depict Mr. Wiegert and Mr. Fassbender as Bert and Ernie there. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Australia, got all the international checking in. I love it. So, before I go away from this particular little graphic here, I kind of had this little imagination of the conversation between Wiegert and Fassbender, you know, kind of maybe going a little something like, you know, hey Tom, you think we maybe should maybe take it a little easy with this Brendan Dassey kid? He maybe might have some learning disabilities there, Tom. You know, and then Tom responds with, oh, don't be ridiculous, Ernie. We're just gonna do the full read technique and consequences be damned. So now we've had a little bit of fun with the graphics, right? So, but that's kind of my little imagination of those two. Hello, everybody. Has been cussing a lot lately. You know, I probably better stop doing live sessions. Yeah, now you made me all self-conscious of it. You might not hear another one. Let's see. Oh. Don't worry. I won't stop. I still want to pass along information to everybody. And particularly the new people pouring in after watching MAM2. So, you know, mainly that's my goal. So I want to keep doing that, of course. When will season 3 be out? Well, let me put it this way. When the first Making a Murderer came out, they didn't even decide whether they were going to be doing a part 2. It was like, I think it was like 6 to 8 months before they decided they were even going to do a part 2. So I don't even know what they're planning yet. It's only, I mean, literally, it's only been a couple weeks. So I got to imagine they're not thinking about the future just yet. They're just, you know, after finishing the documentary, they're probably just sitting back and just kind of, you know, experiencing, you know, having, you know, created something like what Making a Murderer is. So, I mean, I'm not expecting them to make any quick decisions, basically, I guess is what I'm getting at. Erekose, any proof TH wrote in her day planner on 10/31? Yes, there's proof. There's proof in the documents of a woman who they took a report from who actually said she called Teresa and was asking her to, you know, to come by or whatever. And so Teresa had told this woman, the woman that was giving the statement, oh, okay, hold on, let me pull over so I can write this down. So that means she had it with her in the car. She had the day planner with her in the car, and she could not have taken it home. So I hope that answers your question. Just gave my cat a bath and used the blow dryer. He still loves me. That's funny. Let's see. We get is in. I don't know what that means. Sounds video worthy. Let's see. Spoiled. They're both innocent. Should the USA switch to the piece model that we use here in the UK instead of the read technique? You know, it's probably going to take time for that transition, but I think we should start transitioning away from the read technique. It really isn't. It's not nearly as reliable as they would have you try to they would try to have you believe. And the courts have even begun to notice that, but it's just taken a long time to trickle down. Oh, okay, yeah, no problem. You know, Amber, that's cool. It's German, so okay, yeah. I just didn't understand it, so I was like, oh, okay. Let's see. He's laying on the register, getting warm. Oh, we're talking about our pet still here. Okay. Let's see. Yay, another life. Hello, Teresa. Let's see. Erekose. Yeah. Okay. It's German. Yep. Danke. I know what that is. All right. So the whole, you know, I wanted to talk about the subject of Mark and Tom today, because I wanted to, number one, because of Stacy Seabrook's, you know, little ditty that he put out there today, which was really mainly about Brendan Dassey, so seemed fitting in that sense. And so, you know, I really wanted to talk about just, you know, all of what goes on between, you know, Tom Fassbender, Mark Wiegert, and Brendan Dassey and stuff, and even Barb, you know, because, you know, they tell some pretty significant fibs to try to explain how come, like, how Barb or somebody wasn't there to help look after Brendan's best interests. And so they'll make lies like, oh yeah, she was given the opportunity. Baloney. She told you guys that you could pick him up from school on the condition that you brought him back. Did you ever take him back? Then you did not have her permission. That's how that works. So now you are police officers, and you're exerting your force as police officers and arresting him, and that's fine. You did it, and it's done. But don't go around trying to claim that you gave her the chance to be there when she clearly had to be in divorce court and told you guys, fine, you could pick him up, but only if you take him back. Did you ever take him back? Then you never had her permission. Bingo. Let's see here. Glad you liked it. Oh, yes, I love it, Susan. Everybody liked it, too. I don't know. I like the other one, too. Yeah, you're going to make me bring that one up. Let me see if I can find it right now. Let's see. Where would it be? It might be... can't find the other one at the moment. Oh, well. Can you explain the whole thing about them being put up in the hotel or whatever? Oh, okay. So, yes, I can explain Fox Hills. I can talk about Fox Hills. So, what was going on with Fox Hills is they had questioned Brendan on Friday. They pulled him out of school on this Friday. It would have been February 25th, I think, or something like that, right? Or maybe whatever. It was right around that area, right before March 1st, anyways. So on the Friday, they pulled him out of school. They use their tactics. They suggest a couple things. They get him to say a couple things that they feel that they can kind of use or whatever. And so they decide they're going to put up him and his whole family, Barb and all the Dassey boys, up at the Fox Hills Resort that weekend. Now this was them just having they're just having access to all the Dassey boys, Brendan, Blaine, all of them, and Barb, and they had, they were just there with them, and there is no documentation of anything that was discussed. There's no video. There's nothing. There's nothing from the entire weekend. And the whole thing is that it shows that they were targeting, really. And in a sense, maybe the whole Fox Hills thing was a fishing expedition. They were trying to decipher which one of the Dassey boys was the weakest that they could separate from the flock and take down. I mean, seriously, that's what it's like. It's like they were lions hunting, and picking off the weak or the young, kind of thing. So it's like Fox Hills Resort was just a whole chance for them to assess all the Dassey boys and figure out a plan of action of, probably which one they could get to give them the story they were looking for. So that whole weekend happens, and like I said, we have nothing from it. We don't have any transcripts from any conversations that took place. We don't have any video from anything that happened there. And apparently, I've heard that at one point, Blaine and Tom Fassbender kind of got, like, they were butting heads. Like, they got heated. And I'm not sure what it was all about, but I've heard that went down. So, so the whole Fox Hills thing is they spent an entire weekend with Brendan and his brothers and everything. And then they started bringing him in on, the following week. And they bring him in on March 1st. That's the infamous March 1st interview. That's the one that they used to convict him, is the March 1st interview. And they bring him in on March 1st after having spent the whole weekend with him, probably grooming him, getting him ready for what, testing the waters, seeing how they were going to be able to steer him in the directions that they wanted. I'm sure that Fox Hills was all just them figuring out how they could do it. Because there is no record of it. There's nothing from that entire weekend. And the other thing about it is you hear Tom Fassbender say things like, and I'm sorry I'm going off on a rant here and I'm not checking the comments, but you hear Tom Fassbender say things like, I don't assess IQs on the datelines and whatever else, right? And you hear him say, I don't assess IQs and whatever. I mean, first of all, that's ridiculous on its face. It's ridiculous on its face because, dude, this guy is an investigator. He is a detective and an investigator. Okay? You don't get to be a detective and an investigator by being thick and not being able to size people up pretty quickly. Okay? So on its face, that is a ridiculous statement from Tom Fassbender. Okay? And then you add the fact that he had an entire weekend prior to March 1st. He had an entire weekend with Brendan. And you're telling me that over the course of an entire... Not only do you not have normal detective skills to be able to discern that this kid had some kind of like learning disability or something. You weren't able to discern any of that. But not even with an entire weekend were you able to discern that this kid had learning disabilities or something. You didn't have any inkling after an entire weekend. So that's why Tom Fassbender is a liar. And only further proof of Tom Fassbender being a liar, the control question. Brings it right back to that. He's a liar. and he lies, and he's going to be starting, he's going to be starting the go around again too. I'll bet you pretty soon he's going to start doing like a talk show or a radio show and stuff. He's going to start doing like he did before, and he's going to go around talking about the control question and all that crap, and so it's just going to be important to watch him and then refute him when necessary. Let's see. Don't be so close-minded, people. Let me see. Jamie, my comment was purely about fishing expedition for sure. Did they take them away for a few days to have the full reign of the property and plant as no? The Fox Hills thing was happening. Well, it was happening 5 months later, so it was happening long after they were. But they did get onto the salvage yard again to get into Steven's garage, and that's when they found the mysterious magic bullet that doesn't have any of the concrete dust on it from when they jackhammered the floor in there. So yeah, I agree. I feel it's creepy to keep saying it without evidence. There's no evidence she's alive, none. Erekose feels like RH, MH, and Ellie's covering up something by framing Stephen Avery. Yeah, I mean, I certainly, it could be that that's happening. I don't know that I've ever really said that, but it could be that that's happening. I mean, there's something weird going on, and I'll tell you something I saw today, folks, and I can't confirm this yet. Well, there's one part of it I can't confirm, but what I saw today gave me cause for concern, because I've been looking for, when I see the Seventh Circuit majority's interpretation of the control question, it immediately made me go, what is going on here? These are learned judges who obviously understand the English language. Why would they have done this? It didn't make sense to me. It seemed odd and strange and out of place, but I wasn't and I'm even now not making any harsh accusations, but something strange I saw today. And that is that Teresa's older brother, Tim Halbach, I saw a tweet that said that he is part of a commission or something over at the Seventh Circuit. And if he's connected to the Seventh Circuit Court, I don't know, that's making me go, whoa. That's kind of disturbing, because if there is some kind of personal thing going on with Tim Halbach and those majority judges, like if they know each other or something or whatever, or I don't know, but if that's the case, then that could explain why they were willing to completely misrepresent the control question instead of calling it out for what it was, an unreasonable fact. Now, whether or not it would have been enough unreasonable facts, that's another question. But the fact is they missed an unreasonable fact. They didn't just miss it, but they actually repeated it in their own decision. So that little thing about Tim Halbach possibly being connected with the Seventh Circuit Court got my attention. I intend to fact check that because I don't know that I can trust this tweet I saw. So I need to know. I need to find the proof that he was actually connected. But if that's the case, that's very strange for me. Very, very strange. Let's see. What department does that? Okay. Hey, Erekose, watching MAM2 again. I realized they had searched the Yonda Dassey burn barrel on more than one occasion before finding bones. RH on property, as per records, on the 7th. Bones found on the 8th. Yes, that's all correct. Bones were found on the 8th. I do believe Ryan was there on the 7th. So yeah. Ethel, do you find it strange that they only found one? I don't know what that's in reference to. Let's see. It was about her tattoo. She didn't have one. She didn't have one, and the killer would know that. Exactly. It was a control question. It's what they call a control question. And the whole thing is that it was supposed to be a completely made up fact, and they were just going to ask it in the same way that they've been asking every other question, right? And therefore, and that and the whole idea is to test whether or not Brendan Dassey has that memory in his head, right? Because if he denies their fake fact, then it adds to the credibility that he was there. If he denies it, or if he accepts it and says that it was there, then it makes him unreliable. But that's what the control question was there for. And the way he answered it, he proved unreliable, but they just marched on forward anyway and acted like that didn't happen. And it's amazing to me because they put the transcripts right there. They put them right there where you can just see it and go, that is not what they said it is. That is not Brendan resisting. That is Brendan buckling and giving in. I don't understand how anybody could think that is anything different. But, anyway. Let's see here. You all talk about this case and her on a nightly basis, as do I. Hypocritical much. Don't say anything important. We are commenting that they only found one of Teresa's teeth. Oh, yes, that's true. They I think they found parts of 2 or 3 other teeth, but the most whole one is the one that the dentist was able to like glue it together or something, and I don't know, it was kind of janky, kind of wonky, to be perfectly honest. What was the control question? Okay, so I'm wearing my shirt today, so I'll show that off real quick before I answer this. So these shirts are for sale. They're $15 plus shipping. You can send, if you want one, you can send me an email. My email address is down below in the information. The control question is a question that Tom Fassbender asked Brendan during the interrogation. And what Tom Fassbender did was he made up a fake fact. He made it up completely. It's a completely false fact. Okay, Tom Fassbender makes up a fact that Teresa had a tattoo on her stomach. Okay, she didn't. She didn't have one. It's a completely false fact. So Tom, in an attempt to test Brendan and test the veracity of his statements, basically, they say to him, Brendan, we know that Teresa had a tattoo on her stomach. Do you know anything about that? And then Brendan said originally, like he was just like, I don't know, right? Or whatever, right? Because, and I think Tom Fassbender maybe didn't like that. Like he wanted to get more of a definitive, like, no, or, a real more definitive answer. And he goes that one step further. Okay? Now, keep in mind, Brendan has been being, badgered by these guys pretty much for the whole day, that day. So much, they've been badgering him with their questions and tell the truth and be honest and blah 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 blah, right? And they're just badgering this kid. And so Tom Fassbender goes, "Do you disagree with me when I say that, Brendan?" And immediately Brendan obviously goes on the like the defensive, like, I don't want to be in disagreement with him, So he automatically says, "No, I don't disagree with you," basically. Okay, so he's basically agreeing to Tom Fassbender's fake fact. He agrees that Teresa had a tattoo she didn't have. And that only proves that Brendan was buckling. It does not prove that he was resisting, as Tom Fassbender in the state of Wisconsin continuously tell us. They keep telling us that proves that Brendan was resisting. It absolutely does not prove that Brendan was resisting. It absolutely proves the exact opposite of that. It proves that he was buckling and he was malleable in the hands of these investigators. It proves that his will was overborne. Let's see what we got here. Jay, the majority here want to find the real killer and free the innocent. Brendan is 100% innocent. Stephen is more likely than not innocent as well. Marissa's back. Yay! It's okay to have your own theory. Evening, everyone. So you're saying she's a Boca? Really? What proof do you have? Arthur Zipper Burned his garage down. I don't know if he burned it down. Actually, Arthur Zipper. Well, maybe he did. I don't know who Arthur is. Let me see. I read Brendan's psychological assessment today. It clearly states that he was very suggestible. Absolutely. I've done videos about that very psychological report. I've featured it in videos before, and I've featured some of the parts where that psychologist is just pointing out that Brendan took all these tests and all these tests that he took, and there was a bunch of them, and all of them point to the fact that he was highly suggestible. Some more suggestible than 95% of the population. I like how you question the entire narrative. What happens when you join the witness protection? They don't tell even family, or you're out. Keep it up, Jay. Let's see here. Scared him off with all our love. Yeah, I think you guys did. I think you didn't know how to deal with that. Teeth found were extracted wisdom teeth. Thomas Hens has been responding to my comments on Paul Capaldi's recent videos all day today. Yeah. I'll bet he has. Probably got bored here. Scott's trailer. I think... I'm not sure what burned down. I'm not sure about anything burning down. I don't know. Maybe Scott's trailer. I might maybe have heard that. I'm not sure about it, though. So, you know, like I said, for Tom Fassbender to try to suggest that he, number one, doesn't assess IQs, and that he had no inkling that Brendan had some kind of limitations after an entire weekend with him is just laughable. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And then, like I said, the continued, you know, telling of how the control question proves that Brendan was resisting when it doesn't. It's just, you know, the way that Mark Wiegert touches Brendan when he's trying to get Brendan to say what he wants, and he reaches over and he's like, rubbing his knee, and then at one point he even goes over and sits next to him on the couch and like putting his arm around Brendan and everything or whatever, and it's just ridiculous and disgusting. Yeah, I know you guys love bombed him. We all have the right to challenge some of our theories. So anyways, yeah, so Wiegert, you know, touching Brendan, you think of all the tactics that they were using on him. I mean, anytime he said something they didn't want him to say, it was, be honest, Brendan, tell the truth, Brendan. You know, I mean, and there's even one point, I mean, just for them to say to this day that they had no idea, no clue, they should have gotten it when they were questioning Brendan and he actually said something that wasn't true, and they caught him in it, right? They catch him in it, and they realize that he's just said something incongruous and everything, and so they start to get huffy about it, basically, and they said, well, why did you tell us that then, Brendan? And he actually just straight up goes, I'm guessing. He just says it. I'm guessing. And they just move right past it, act like it didn't happen. So I mean, these guys are liars. They're absolutely liars. And Mark Wiegert, he says to this day, he says, what does he say? I stand behind everything we did. Yeah. You stand behind that crap. You good for you, buddy, because that's probably gonna be your downfall. It makes me wonder how many teenage kids Bert and Ernie have questioned. how many more Brendans? Yeah, true. Fortunately, they didn't work together a whole lot. You know, Tom Fassbender was only there because he was from the DOJ. So him and Wiegert, you know, Wiegert from Calumet, him and Wiegert were the co-lead investigators because, you know, on big cases like this, they tend to bring in the DOJ to get some higher ups involved and everything. And so it also brings the state's resources into the murder investigation and that sort of stuff. So that's why they tend to do that sort of thing. They knew and they exploited it, absolutely. Let's see, marshals or FBI either would make it highly unlikely, seeing that the feds had no dog in the fight. I couldn't think of it. as to why he didn't tell them Steve shot her in the head. Exactly. Couldn't think of it. That's because he was guessing. Couldn't think of it. Couldn't think of it is something you say when you're guessing and you couldn't think of what you couldn't guess what it was. So and then when you actually have Brendan telling them later on, I'm guessing, it puts that statement into perspective. Absolutely. When he said that, I couldn't think of it. That's him saying, I guessed wrong. At least we had Fallon for the pre-show. Let's see, Running Fox. That's right. I'm sorry, Arthur. I'm the one mixed up. Zipperer did tear down his garage. Yeah, he tore it down. Right. He didn't. I don't think it burned down. No, and I forgot about Scott's trailer burn. Yeah, I actually think maybe that did burn Scott's trailer. Let's see. Was Calumet County in cahoots with Manitowoc County? They had no beef against Avery like Manitowoc did. It's, for me, Calumet County, I think most of Calumet County, Wiegert may have had an idea. He may have had an idea, but I think Tom Fassbender knew because he was Peg L's right hand. So there's a very distinct reason why he was there. When it comes down to it, I believe it was Manitowoc officers, very specific few Manitowoc deputies that were planting the evidence. I believe the Calumet officers, even though it wasn't them ever finding this stuff, somehow it always seemed to be Manitowoc finding it, didn't question. You've heard me say this before. My friend Mark Audie says it. All compasses point north. That's what it is with law enforcement and people in that kind of field and stuff, is they all tend to think similar. They kind of tend to have the same ideas and just they think in the same direction generally. So Calumet, I think, was just seeing the evidence that was getting found and they were just going with it, not necessarily in the know as to any corruption. I think Wiegert may have had an idea though from Tom, and I think Tom Fassbender went in there to get Brendan specifically because they wanted to seal the conviction against Avery, and it also would take Brendan away from Stephen at trial as a potential alibi witness, and so it served two purposes by them coercing Brendan. So that's the real trick. The investigator that was working on for his lawyer got a different story than they did. Absolutely, it's like different every time. The only story that changes is this absolute train wreck that they coerce from him. When they coerce him, that's when the story gets all weird. Whenever he recants any of the confessions that they coerce from him, he goes right back to telling the same story. It has sometimes maybe slight differences, but they are slight differences. He tells pretty much the same story every time when he's not been coerced, basically. So that's just my opinion on Brendan. So let's see, Marissa. Let's see. J Champ, the dental x-rays where the dental records are from. The wisdom teeth are in that. All of mine were impacted and needed removed. All visible on x-ray, which is how we knew. Okay. Yeah. J Champ, human bodies don't burn fully in an open pit fire. Now that I have yet to see proof that it could be done, but for some reason Zellner's saying that it can. I guess one of our experts is saying it can, but by most accounts I've heard and seen, it's not really possible. I don't know. That's a point of contention, I guess. Is just all. Let's see. I don't know, but in my opinion, answers the where TH died question. So do you think Manitowoc law enforcement lied to the other counties involved, taking them at their word, believing SA did something to her? All the counties should be held responsible. Yeah. I don't know if they knew or not, but like I said, when law enforcement get together, they don't question each other. If they find what they find and they go with it. They don't really ask a whole lot of questions. And that's all I'm saying. And because of the way that is, that's the way these, agencies operate, that's how these things happen, because they all just go in the same direction. They all have each other's backs. There's just a brotherhood there, and it's just the way it is with law enforcement. So, I guarantee that if there was anybody at Calumet that had an inkling of what was going on or was beginning to suspect, they weren't going to say anything. They weren't going to rock the boat. They weren't going to make waves because they weren't going to have they weren't going to become the focus themselves. They were just going to ignore it and pretend it wasn't happening if they had any kind of clue that it was happening. Thought they found 3 pieces of broken teeth. That's what I thought as well. They were able to glue 2 of them together to match, or supposedly match. See, Mick YouTube video on it. Source. I was wondering about the story about Bobby's wife leaving him and supposedly no one knows where he is. Is that a true story? From what I understand, that's what's happening. I don't know. I would imagine the family probably knows maybe where he is, but if they do, they're not saying, and that's, yeah. I understand because, like I said, there's nowhere he can go right now. He's just gonna get dogged because MAM2 just came out, and there's just nowhere he can go. Don't remember Mick. Thanks. I think the bones came from a real cremation in a crematory. Since the coroner was excluded from all of this, who burned the body? Yeah, well, there's a few theories. One is at the smelter at Scott's work, and then there's the other theory about Carmen Boutwell, which is so. Carol Proof is they told Manitowoc officials Manitowoc officials were telling the coroner she couldn't go to the Avery property. That's out there. That's crazy. Casey is the girl's name made the video Mick, I believe. Okay, so Casey Martinez. Okay. Casey Martinez is who you're talking about. Yeah, you can find her on YouTube. Denied doing anything wrong. Why does the confession, which wasn't under oath, carry more weight than his testimony? That's a very good question. It's a question my friend Mark Hodnott likes to bring up a lot, actually, and it's really valid. Why is that whole train wreck, crazy, wacky confession believed more than Brendan Dassey's own testimony in court under oath, where he was able to be cross-examined by the prosecution vigorously, and that's not believed? Why is that? How does that happen? That's the question. Riddle me that. Let's see. Only evidence that was planted after Calumet had the property contained was a bullet in the key. Calumet didn't have anything to do with the framing. I think they were just kind of following the evidence, even though they might have thought it was a little bit weird that they weren't finding any and it was all Calumet. all Manitowoc. But like I said, I'm pretty sure they just wouldn't want to make waves. Look at the way that Kucharski, Mr. Alien Boy, for those of you who don't know who Kucharski is, the guy that said maybe it was aliens. Look at the way he testifies. He clearly understands that there's something strange going on with that key, but he is willing to back his brothers in the badge. He's willing to say whatever he has to say so that people will believe that the key was found there. And even though I think he shows some sign of questioning that. So Go to live leak and check it out because the courts are up. Courts are up there. Up there are crooked, just like the cops. Yeah. In a written statement from Brendan, he started writing that he came home from school and went to play games. They stopped him and said, "That's not what really happened." Really, yeah, exactly. That's where they chose to break him from his story, and that's where they got him to say he went and got the mail and all that stuff. When Steven's mom, Dolores, is the one apparently that brought Steven's mail that day, so it doesn't make any sense. Closed pit fire, constant flame. They follow orders. The boss has a change of plans, right? Exactly. The boss has a change of plans. I mean, that phone call is just like, yeah. Any evidence found while Manitowoc was on the scene should have been ruled admissible. I agree. Oh, thank you, Shona. Thank you very much. Thank you. You're so kind. What effect? Let's see. Is it just crazy, dude? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Chase. Thank you so much. You guys are very kind. I very much appreciate it. Let's see. Draw Teresa here on the bed. Right, that's with O'Kelly. Yeah, O'Kelly just makes me just want to punch him. Calumet did not have anything to do with it per se, but they had control of the scenes, and Manitowoc detectives were not supposed to be on site. Absolutely. It bothered me when Wiegert had nothing in his report about calling TH's appointments that day. He had nothing about B. Yonda. Called all other appointments but Barb. Was that brought up in trial? I don't know if it was. Don't recall, actually, at the moment. Is he just a crazy dude? Same initials as Teresa, so I have to spell out Thomas H. I'd love to know how if they had one tooth that they couldn't get a positive DNA match. They say teeth don't burn and they keep their DNA. Yeah, but if you remember, they glued the tooth together. The dentist had to reassemble the tooth. He had to actually glue it back together, whatever, with dental cement or whatever. But he had it was actually two pieces, and he pieced it back together and was able to determine this was her whatever molar. Apparently, I don't know if it was burned that bad. I don't understand really how that could happen, but I don't know. Anyway, what effect do you think Wiegert is going to have as the new sheriff of Calumet County? Business as usual. No change. I can't. I'm imagine he's just going to be running it like always. I don't imagine he's going to be shaking things up or doing anything forward thinking. Somebody on the level knew. I agree, Jamie. Chaperone crap is laughable. Morbid, but when I lost my Dassey, I looked at her ashes, and most was a very fine powder, but they had at least one tooth that I found. Oh, okay. Whether to Manitowoc or Calumet, ask the jury. Greg, yep. That was a cop out, so to speak. Because of the confession came first, people had it in their head. Oh yeah, well the press certainly affected people. No evidence of Brendan at the scene really. Absolutely, there's absolutely no physical evidence of Brendan there. I am late, so if I ask something you already answered, please excuse me. Thank you for being a great source. Oh, no problem, Shona. How could they even try Brendan for the crime when Steve was convicted and the one man only responsible? Well, that's just it. They got Brendan for aiding in aiding and abetting or whatever it is, or assisting. Like assisting in the mutilation of a corpse, assisting, in the murder or whatever. Basically, it was those types of charges for Brendan. And the funny part is he was convicted for mutilation of a corpse, and nobody was actually found guilty of mutilating a corpse. Stephen wasn't. Stephen was he was acquitted of that. So interesting. Let's see. What did I miss? Did we solve the case? Yeah, Suge Knight did it. Manitowoc County had a conflict of interest and should never have been near the Avery property at all. I was watching the murder of Thomas Ackerson today, and they had a confession, and the detective said, even with a great confession, they had no evidence, and that you cannot bring a case to trial without. I mean, yeah, don't you? I mean, don't you need some freaking kind of suggestion that the person was actually there and did it? Especially if it's as gruesome and all that, right? I mean, yeah. As soon as Kaczynski was recused, it should have been a mistrial. I agree. And all the evidence that was obtained in those interviews with O'Kelly should have been inadmissible. Absolutely. in fact, it wasn't admissible. They never admitted that stuff that O'Kelly got. No, he just used that. He just did that to Brendan to get Brendan talking and confessing again, so that he could then call Tom Fassbender and Mark Wiegert to come down to the prison and interview Brendan again. They made him confess again. And the only way that was going to happen was if his own lawyer's investigator got the ball rolling. And that was essentially, that's why O'Kelly met with Brendan, was to get him into the confession mode, to coerce him, and then that opens the door for Tom Fassbender and Mark Wiegert, and that's where they make him call his mom and tell her that he did this, and that's where they tell him, if you don't do it, we'll do it ourselves. If you don't call her, we'll tell her. And what is the first thing that Brendan says when he calls? Did Tom and Mark call you? And and Barb's like, Brendan, I never hear from those guys. I never hear anything. Right? They manipulated him. There was nothing. They were doing nothing else than manipulating him. Answer me this. Have any of you ever heard a more morbidly detailed explanation of a crime from a city official in any other crime on TV? Yeah, that's a good point. Generally don't get that gruesome of details and everything, New Attorney General and new governor of Wisconsin, will that help? It can. It's new blood, it's new ideas, and I'll guarantee you Tony Evers is going to be looking at MAM2, and he's going to be seeing all the Twitter activity, and he's going to be seeing things, and he's going to probably realize that the world is watching, and he may choose to be proactive about this. We'll have to see. The things he cares about are more, I think it was education and prison reform, I think it was, and then he had something, prison reform, and then he had a couple other things. So it wasn't like criminal justice reform was a big thing for him, but like I said, the way the winds are blowing right now, we'll have to see what happens. Let's see, was OJ in the area? The interview where they got Brendan to confess to seeing toes in the fire, which made Stephen threaten him not to say anything. If cops believe that story was made up, why not the later confession? Yeah, right? How do they pick and choose what they believe and don't believe? Exactly. Thank you, sir. Your last comment was spot on. The toes. The jury was tainted when a man from the outside brought in pizza and didn't sign out for a while later. They didn't. Why didn't that automatically give them a new trial? Yeah, when I heard about that pizza guy and what happened with that is strange. The other thing is Poggle's continued interaction with the jury bothered me. Why the hell was Poggle interacting with the jury? He shouldn't have been. But so yeah, and then you have the juror that left, of course. And the whole the really strange circumstances surrounding what happened with his daughter, which was kind of the reason he chose to leave, because he was worried about his daughter and he had thought she was in a serious accident when she hadn't been. So, you kind of wonder where he was getting his information from, but he chose to step down from the jury. There's a lot of things going on here that are just strange. You apparently don't need any evidence in Wisconsin. People confess to crimes they don't commit all the time, and just saying you did it shouldn't be enough to convict. Agreed. Schimmel must be pissed knowing that this case may possibly be the reason he got voted out. I'm sure he probably is. I'm sure that thought's going across his mind. Let's see. Schimmel was a scumbag. No surprises he was voted out, right? What O'Kelly did was disgusting. It was very disturbing. That made Brendan draw the scene from a fictional crime scene. Absolutely. In higher profile cases, you will get plenty of confessions, and they then investigate them all to see if they can validate and press charges. Right. And I think that's probably the better way to do it. But like I said, they were so busy. They were so eager to shoehorn Avery into the conviction that Brendan was just there to seal the deal. Not only did it create a narrative that they were looking for, but it also took away Brendan as a potential alibi witness for Stephen. So it was like a double whammy. This sounds promising regarding the new governor. Hope to God he's not corrupt. I hope so too. Documentary The West Memphis 3, prime example of false confessions, and the Central Park 5. Those of you who haven't heard of the Central Park 5, check that one out. So usually good detectives follow that code. Greg G is called The Confession. I've been looking for something to binge on. Those jail calls are all recorded unless it's with a lawyer, I believe. The main purpose was to get him to confess to his mom so that they could record it. Absolutely. And then they were able to play that in court. They played it 3 times in court. That alone for me should be a retrial, because number one, that should have never happened, because his own counsel coerced him and sent him into the lion's den of Tom Fassbender and Mark Wiegert. And then they coerced him into making that call. And then that call was played 3 times at trial. 3 times. Okay? Tell me that wasn't affecting the jury? That, to me, in my mind, right there, is evidence that should have never been admitted, and it certainly tainted the minds of the jury. Absolutely. Jail calls are recorded. Right. Yeah. Jury tampering, jury members related to the sheriff's department officials, just dirty all around. Absolutely. Usually if a detective brings a crappy case to the DA will turn it away and say they need more because they only get one chance to convict. This case is so crazy. Absolutely. Let's see here. Stephen's trial was first. Wish the parties here followed protocol. Absolutely, that's the biggest problem here. They can't refute making a murderer because they did such a poor job. Even now, I'm sure they've been looking back at it for the last 3 years, trying to figure out how they could spin it, but they're not coming up with much. I actually have not written to Stephen Brendan, although I have a friend who writes to them a lot and like tells them stuff for me every once in a while. Greg, I've been watching Outlander. It's a good series so far. Yeah, but Michael Scofield was a genius. What did Kratz say to get the coroner from testifying? Basically just saying that whatever she had to say was irrelevant, and Judge Willis agreed again. I don't know what else to say. I know we've said... darn I know we've said this a million times, but guilty means no reasonable doubt, right? Yeah, exactly. At the very worst, Brendan's account should have acted as a witness testimony to Stephen committing the crime because no evidence suggested Beatty was there. Absolutely. Her testimony was deemed irrelevant. Yeah, the coroner's testimony was deemed irrelevant. Yeah, it was just deemed irrelevant. You know who did the deeming, right? What you talking about, Willis? I believe the prosecution had the coroner was a disgruntled employee. Yeah, something along those lines. Right, and they believed that, and they wanted her out, and they were able to get her out. Fassbender said the case was like a funnel. Yeah, the funnel investigation. Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah. That was a fun chat last night. Thanks. I added the Bert and Ernie in Something's Going On because of the chats you've had on your channel. Well, that's cool. Right on. I'm going to have to go back and take a look at it now. Let's see. They run it all their own way up there. Absolutely. And any missing persons called TH. His mother said TH had a pierced belly button and why not found in the ashes? Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, thank you very much, Chris. Oh, thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Oh, absolutely. I just hope I don't miss any. I hope I don't miss too many. I'm doing my best. Let's see. And her missing persons called TH's mother. Yeah, that was right. The belly button piercing and the ear piercings. Why aren't they there? Absolutely. Did the coroner ever take any action against the county for that? I think she just said she just let it go. I think she, in fact, she said she felt she didn't like going out on calls at night anymore. Like she didn't trust her own fellow, workmates, I guess, or whatever, the fellow officers and stuff. Like, that's really strange, but she decided to just let it go and retire and go away. Let's see here. The key to solving this case is Colburn's cell records. That's a fair point. Would be interesting to see if where his cell phone was pinging when he was calling in the RAV4. Stacey Seabrook. Okay. What do you think will be on KZ's December 20th filing? A lot like what was in the first filing, basically. Pretty much. I mean, she's probably going to rewrite it and reword it and put it a little differently, but it's going to be basically a lot of the same things that we see in the when she originally filed with Judge Sukowicz in Sheboygan there with the district court. When she originally filed about the CD, it's basically going to be that. She's going to reword it or whatever and reissue it. And then that's basically what it's going to be about. It's going to be about the CD, the computer evidence, and just all those things. And she will probably work in her theory of what happened. She's now at the point where she wants that to be part of everything she does because she realizes that without that, she's definitely not going to get, she's definitely going to have trouble getting anybody's ear. So I think that's going to be accompanying pretty much everything now. So he trusted that Kratz. Wait, do you think there's a possibility that the Manitowoc Police Force committed the crime? It would be the sheriffs, not the police, by the way. The crime themselves. They were truly the only ones with motive to the tune of, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing, dude. They had so much motive, and Avery had no motive. In fact, the prosecution was trying him without any motive. Yeah. So that's the trick here. Who really had motive here? Where did the motive really lie? I mean, seriously. Right? Don't get strange. So he just trusted Kratz, knew she was disgruntled. It was not a reason not to hear her testimony. Well, no, but he was trying to. No, Kratz made the argument that whatever she had to say was irrelevant, and Judge Willis agreed. Dateline lost all credibility with so many viewers. So has Dr. Phil by their bull poop on these cases. I forget which case it was, but the jury gave a verdict on one count they thought would send a message to the appeals court that they had doubt. What was that about? Why not give a not guilty verdict? Well, they did. They that's what I was talking about earlier. They never convicted Stephen of mutilation of a corpse. They only got him for possession of a firearm, and when he was on probation or parole or whatever, he wasn't supposed to have one. And then they got him for the murder of Teresa Halbach. The mutilation of a corpse got the jury acquitted Stephen of that. So it was only the gun charge and the murder charge that Stephen was convicted on. Because she wasn't burning Avery's burn pit. Dateline was bad, but I think Nancy disgrace was worse. Hopefully, if Casey gets him a new trial, she gets to testify, as I want to hear what she said, and it gets some officials arrested. I would hope. Nobody's ever going to investigate these crooked guys like Colburn. Yeah, probably not. I missed the live last night, but watched it today. Very good convo and music at Stacy Seabrook. Jerry and Dean should have used police to fulfill Denny. The phone call between Barb and Steve, though, yeah, that is crazy. I mean, that phone call was pretty crazy. That's what I mean about the courts. They are crooked, required SA's attorneys to prove a Denny suspect with motive, but yet didn't have to have one for Stephen. Absolutely. Fassbender, yep, that's a oldie but a goodie. How do you feel about the club that Dave Bigaka talks about? I call it the good old boys club. I believe Wisconsin has this little network there. I've actually sat in court where a person was charged with stabbing their aunt because she took her $5. So if you can stab your own aunt for $5, you can frame for $30 million. Absolutely. Can't leave without Link. He's complicit. Dr. Phil should be embarrassed. The motive, he was sweaty and creepy. That's all they kept trying to say about him. That's true. I heard a rumor. Don't know if true. Police wanted Coroner to lie about a previous incident. An officer striking. Well, yes, the officers pulled up to an accident scene where somebody had been hit or something, and they ran over the victim, and they wanted the coroner to say that the victim had already succumbed to the from the injuries they had sustained from the original accident, and so basically letting the officers that accidentally ran him over or her letting them off the hook, but she wasn't willing to do that. She was going to tell the truth, and so that made her unpopular. I am still planning to, yes. Well, I'm waiting for him. He keeps telling me he's busy, he's got a baby and things going on, so we'll have to see. I'm waiting for him to get back to me. I got something going on with Sean Atwood right now anyways, so I'm fine if Fresh Start Mondays gets back to me like next week. That would be good. Because I'm hoping me and Sean Atwood are going to be doing a call here this weekend, I hope. Was the police document listing the RAV4 as being seized on the 3rd, 2 days before discovered? Yeah, the document does show that. Was it brought up in court? I don't think so. Erekose, you need to get a larger conference room, tack board, and dry erase board. Start your own. Connect the dots with evidence. That would be funny. You guys remember that meme? I don't know how many of you remember that meme. And it was like how I picture myself, researching or supporting Stephen and Brendan or whatever. And it shows like a picture of Reese Witherspoon in Legally Blonde, right, or whatever, right? So she's like all looking all good and everything, and then it shows and what I really look like, and it shows like this guy, his like shirt's untucked, his hair's messy, he's got like all this stuff behind him and all these strings going between things, but it looks like a mess and everything. Oh my god, have you guys seen that meme? It's hilarious. That's what I'll probably end up looking like if I try to do that. Fresh Start Monday is unoriginal. Okay. Well, I actually kind of like him, but you know, he came to the game late, certainly. But I don't know. I've chatted with him. Him and I are friends on Facebook and stuff. So he's a pretty cool dude. I don't really have anything against him, but you know, certainly people are looking at what other YouTubers are doing when they're thinking about how they want to talk about the case. I don't know if you know this, Jay, but I always encourage other YouTubers. I always encourage anybody that wants to get on YouTube and create more awareness of this case. I encourage it. I've encouraged my friend Paul, my friend Mark. I've encouraged some other people who weren't brave enough to get on YouTube, but they did get on Facebook and post some Facebook videos last year around Christmas time. And stuff like that. I encourage everybody to do whatever they can to create more awareness for this case, to get to ears of people that haven't heard, or to get the people that haven't watched MAM2 yet to sit down and watch it, and so they can see all that evidence that we've seen, and all that sort of stuff. So let's see here. Kaylee, good point. Were the same officials involved in the Ricky Hochstetler case? I think I heard that James Link and Colburn certainly were. Robert Herman was involved, and I believe also Remiker, I believe, and it may have been a few others too. Poggle got a little bit involved too at one point. He was suggesting that it might have been somebody he had sold an old Suburban of his to and everything, whatever. So yeah, there's crossover in the Ricky case. He had a felon pointing a gun at his cousin. Hello, Candace from New Zealand. Fresh Start Monday did do a pretty good recent video, which was a narration of Zellner's motion about Ryan as a suspect. Yeah, he did. He's getting a lot of views on that video and stuff. I mean, Ryan, Ryan's a hot. If I guarantee you, if I put together a video about Ryan tomorrow, that thing would probably go nuts. You know, Ryan's the topic that people like. I just try to stay away from it because I don't like to beat a dead horse. Yeah, Adam and KK did the same because he couldn't get Brendan to testify against SA, right? Once you have a felony, you can never own a firearm unless the felony gets expunged. Let's see. Okay, understand why now. Okay. Chicken nuggets. Everybody's talking about chicken. You guys are making me hungry. I forgot. I didn't eat. I forgot to have dinner before I went live. So, I guess to bring it back to Mark Wiegert and Tom Fassbender, yeah, these guys, it's just, obviously Wiegert isn't going to say anything. He's never said anything. He's never going to. But Tom Fassbender's retired. He's retired, and that's why we see him going on Nancy Grace and going on Dr. Phil and Dr. Oz and all that stuff, and talking about the control question and all these other things. It's just bizarre. Okay. Gotcha, Nacho. I'm waiting for him to get back to me. I don't know what else to say. I would say yes, we are. He's the one that approached me about it. He was excited about it. So I imagine as soon as he has time, he's going to get back to me. But he did tell me that he's busy with the new baby right now. And life's a little crazy at the moment. So I'm inclined to wait because, like I said, I got something going on this weekend anyway. So if he gets back to me next week, I'm fine with that. The answer is yes. I guess. I don't know what to tell you other than it's a matter of when he gets back to me. Felons can get rights restored, then have to get special approval to possess a firearm. It's difficult, but can be done. Drat, I thought you weren't going live tonight. No, I'm actually trying to figure out what I'm going to do tomorrow night, guys, because, you know, obviously Purple is going to be going live. So I wonder if she's got it scheduled yet. If I could go look at, see when she's got it scheduled. If she's got it scheduled for the same time as last time, I might get home early tomorrow. So I might be able to go. I might be able to go before her. We'll have to see. Fresh Start Mondays. Oh my gosh. Okay, Susan. Fresh Start Mondays apparently had a child recently, and he's real busy with having to deal with having a newborn. So I'm waiting for him to get back to me. Who has old babies? Call J Champ. You want to do a call, Jay? Careful what you ask for. Let's see. My dad was a federal firearms guy. I knew about the restoring under special circumstances, but it's too long to explain here. I thought I saw a post of yours saying you weren't going live tonight. Must have misread it. Oh yeah, you probably did see a post that said that, but it was probably like 2 days ago. You're gonna have to look at the dates on my Facebook posts now, because going live every night, that means every day I'm putting a post on Facebook to tell people I'm going live. So when you're looking at the post, when you see the post on Facebook, look at the date on it to see if it's from that day or not. Okay, let's see. Or maybe Ryan was with Andy on a ride along, job shadowing. Could be. I forgot tomorrow is Friday, but yes, we can schedule that. Yeah, I suppose I do. Just don't go when Laura is live. That's what I was just talking about. Yeah. If I get off of work early tomorrow, as I'm hoping, then I can. I could go before Laura. So we'll have to see how it works out. I will consider who the moderators will be. I'd say you're probably in the running, Marissa. Yeah, those Texas law panel. Yeah, those are awesome. I still have 2 more of those. Another one in the morning, by the way. I'm scheduling one to premiere in the morning. She goes live at 9 according to her, which is 9 East Coast, so that's 6 for me. So I would have to get home. By about 2 or 3 o'clock in order to do it. So, but it's possible. That's possible for tomorrow. If everything goes smoothly and I don't have any hiccups, I could certainly probably be home by that time. Let's see. You're gonna watch Danganronpa. Okay. Isn't she in Central Time? Okay, maybe she is. I don't know where she lives, so whatever. I know she's from New York, so I figured she was on the East Coast, but maybe not. Loved watching those again. What do you expect to see in Convicting a Murderer? I don't know, actually. I mean, I expect it's going to lean heavily on supporting the state and you know, like the claims of Kratz and Fassbender and stuff like that, but I mean, I got to imagine Sean Reck is going to look into this, and he's going to start looking into the documents like the rest of us, and he's going to start looking at this stuff, and he's going to start seeing that the things that the agents of the state are saying aren't exactly true. I think it may color his documentary. I'm actually intrigued to see what shape his documentary is going to take, because I got to imagine, it's like, I don't know, like when I make my videos, it's important to me that I make sure what I'm saying is like well founded, and that it's true, and that I'm not like just throwing lies out, or just making assumptions, or try not to. I may make some assumptions here and there, and I always try to call them out when I do, but that's the way I am about making my videos. And I just kind of naturally tend to think that probably Sean Reck has the same kind of attitude about his videos, because I mean, yeah, I don't know, I just think that as he begins to learn more about the case, I'm wondering if it's going to color the documentary that he's making. I hope it will be. I mean, I'll tell you what, man, that camera guy was just super excited about me. He was totally, I mean, I could tell he didn't want to stop me the first time. He didn't want to stop me, but he ended up stopping me because he was like mad because he wasn't getting the audio the way he wanted. And he was just like, I could tell, so he stops me and he reaches into my pocket and he messes with the mic. He does something to it or whatever to clear it up. And he goes, okay, go ahead. He goes, can you start again? I'm like, sure. Started right from the word one and went again. And he seemed pretty excited about it. So I'm thinking we'll at least get to see me talking about the control question in there. I think there's a good chance, but hey, I may hit the cutting room floor. Who knows? Let's see. Good idea. They could go. Let's see. What's on video conference like last night with Purple would be awesome. Yeah, I guess. But you heard her say she's not real excited about doing a video or a talk with me, and although I have nothing against Purple, I'm I like her well enough, I guess is what I'm saying. But I don't know, some of the things that she thinks and says are, I don't know, I don't necessarily agree with some of the things that she thinks and says either. And she clearly has some issues with some of the things that I think and say. So maybe I'm open to it. If she wants to, I'm open to it. Maybe, possibly. Do a call with Juan. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I know Chad Keller did an actual radio show with him about, I don't know, it was like 5 or 6 months ago. No. It was even before that. It was probably about a year ago now. They did a radio show when Chad's book was coming out. Forget Fresh Start Monday. I've just finished work Friday. That's funny. Letha Westmoreland. He said last night that the 1 million views show will be on the other channel, so there can be extra shenanigans. Yeah, maybe. We'll see how that goes. Kim Ducat is so intelligent, well-spoken, and personable about the case. I wish you could do a call with her. I'd be willing, but I think Kim, I don't think she wants to be on camera and stuff. I think she's not really into that. Susan, that would be cool, yeah. It's not Purple, it's Purple X Cutie, just spelled differently and lots of profanity. I missed there. I think I missed something. Let's see. Erekose looked well in the background in MAM2. Yeah, I was in the background in MAM2. See me, I think it was 3 times where you can see me. I'm wearing my baby blue control question t-shirt. It's the original one that Paul Capaldi sent me. It doesn't say hashtag Brendan Dassey like this one here. But I'm wearing that one, and it's like a light blue. Let's see. I totally agree. Purple. Her views, I can get on board with. I'm glad you get me. Let's see. Sorry, Susan, I had her confused. I totally agree. I cannot get on board with purple views. Some of the things she says are fine. I mean, in terms of like her basic grasp of the case, she's good. And who am I to dispute her? I mean, she's perfectly willing. I mean, she's allowed to have her own ideas about the case and everything, and I'm not really criticizing her. It's just that I don't necessarily agree with her, and I think she doesn't necessarily agree with me. I don't hold it against her. It's just we just don't. We have some things that we think differently, and that's just, it is what it is. Yeah, you keep calling her purple. She's playing with the spelling, but her name is supposed to be purple. It's supposed to be Purple X Cutie. Yeah, Purple X'd out Cutie, I think is what it is. You should put appeared in MAM2 in your credential. Do I have credentials? I don't know where I would put it. I don't know where my credentials are. Sorry I'm late. Great to be here. It's been a while. Hi Ayasha. If Casey gets him out, we should plan a welcome party in Manitowoc and then get the hell out of Dodge before Andy and Wiegert show up. I am new to this case and all that, and I find your channel to be very good. But that purple girl is great for me also, and absolutely. Let me be clear, Mapco. Let me just be clear. I'm not against purple, and I encourage everybody to listen to her. I encourage everybody to listen to Casey. Casey reads straight from the documents. I encourage you, if you like Casey, listen to Casey. She'll read straight from the documents to you. If you like Johnny or Ripper YouTube, NBA 2K, if you like him, watch him. If you like Fresh Start Mondays, watch him. If you like whoever it is you like him, love him, appreciate him, do it. I'm not here to tell you guys to stay away from anybody. I don't want anybody here to be construing anything I'm saying that way. I'm not. I am telling you to get out there and experience the people that are out there talking about this case. Experience them. I have some disagreements with Laura, but most of what she says is pretty much correct. She has a pretty good fundamental grasp of the case and the facts. So if you like Laura, listen. If you like Purple, listen to her. If you like, Casey, whoever it is, Fresh Start, whoever it is, if you like them, listen to them. Support them. Do it. Purple X Cutie. Okay. Hi, Sharon. See, Erekose needs an IMDb page. Oh, that's funny. Do they give IMDb pages for YouTube stars? I don't know. Oh wait, first of all, I didn't mean to say stars. By no means am I saying I'm a star. Sharon may have something to say about that, but by no means am I saying I'm a star. But do YouTubers get on IMDb? I don't know. I never even heard of that. Oh, thank you so much, Daz. 2 years. Yeah, I mean, I started probably about 2.5 years ago. I started about 6 months after the first MAM came out. It took me a while to get started. We all start doing videos. Hey, like I said, you go back to my videos from Thanksgiving and Christmas of last year. Go and watch my videos and see what I was doing. You'll see what I'm talking about. I was trying to show people how they could make a video and talk and stuff and have the image be something besides themselves, to where they could just set their phone down in front of a picture or in front of something that they think is kind of unique to themselves or whatever, something that they would, they think symbolizes them, so that they don't have to have their face on the screen. I have all these videos that I made last year where I was trying to help people, help people try to figure out how to make their own videos and stuff. Certainly, I don't know how much time I'm going to have this year to do that. I mean, everything's blowing up, but but I'm all about encouraging people to get out there and represent about the case and create all the awareness possible. Nothing to do with purple X, like confused. Yeah, I enjoy your streams. It makes my day to see that others are as furious as I am about this case. Thanks. You're welcome, Shweezy. Let's see. Like them, love them, appreciate them. Yeah, absolutely. If you like them, if you listen to them and you like them and you like what they got to say, man, support us. We're all out here, putting our face out here, and we're doing everything we can. So you guys can definitely support us. We'll love it. Erekose, have you received any YouTube plaques yet? As far as I know, I haven't. I don't know what they even are. Let's see, thanks. People just don't get it. Erekose deserves a YouTube plaque and more. Oh, thank you guys. You guys are so kind. Let's see. I will check her out as well, just like Erekose's personality. Well, thank you, Jamie. He should get a camera crew and be on site for the retrial or evidentiary hearing. I actually may be there for the evidentiary hearing. I probably wouldn't be able to be there for the entire duration of it, but I'd probably be able to go for maybe 3 or 4 days. Would be cool. Let's see. Chicken nuggets again. Yeah, you know what, Marissa? I'm going to figure out how to make you a moderator. You'll be the first one. Tried to ignore the chicken nuggets thing, but it's just annoying. I'll talk about all the language that Fassbender and Wiegert use and how grammatically incorrect it all was. MAM from an English teacher's perspective. There you go. Dave Bagaka is great too. I like Dave. I love Dave. He's a cool guy. Hello. Now okay, there you go with that again. If they ever get an evidentiary hearing, boy, you mentioned a lot of people. Have to find them first. Well, there's some YouTubers out there, and you'll see when you start watching my videos, it'll start suggesting some of these other YouTubers to you, and so they are for your accomplishments on views, total views, and subscribers. Maybe I'll get one when I hit 1 million. When I hit 1 million views, maybe YouTube will give me something. What is it, like an actual plaque, or is it just like a little badge that goes on your channel somewhere? Mark H is great too. I love Mark Hodnott. He's awesome. Let's see here. Wait, tell me. Okay. Oh, you're welcome, Greg. And I think we're gonna cut this off now too. I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna make Marissa a moderator. Because she's always here 20 minutes early, or even an hour early. I've seen her a couple times an hour early. So she would probably be a good one to monitor this chat. So I'm probably going to do that, because I just can't believe this person here is still talking about the stupid chicken nuggets. It's ridiculous. So, that pretty much wraps it up for talking about Wiegert and Fassbender. Obviously, here today, Bert and Ernie got to show off a little bit of Susan Sexton's, artwork there, which was brilliant. And so, if you haven't already, please hit subscribe, and we'll see you guys. Let me hit. Maybe I can do it right now, then, Marissa. Here, before I go offline here. Manage moderators. Oh. Alright, so I gotta get... Shoot, I can't get to Marissa's channel by clicking on her face here, or on her profile pic here. So, let me... Marissa S. Hold on. I gotta get the URL from your channel. Okay, Marissa, you are now a moderator. So now Marissa can monitor the chat, and she can lay the smack down while I'm trying to concentrate on more important things. So she can be my muscle here for the knuckleheads. Yeah, good. Now you really want nuggets? Uh-oh. Better get on that, Marissa. Amber Lee wants her nuggets. You're my favorite mod. Captain Crunch! Man, you guys, if you guys want to have some fun and you want to laugh, you should go look at me and Paul. You should go find my Crunch Court video. That we had a lot of fun making that. That was a lot of fun. Got the owls going. Uh-oh. All right, folks. So, well, it may take effect later. Here, let me look. It says the changes are saved. Maybe it'll take effect the next time you come back, or maybe if you refresh. The email, yeah, I did. Shona White. Yeah, I did get the email. I just wanted to let you know you probably shouldn't do that anymore because they wouldn't allow me to claim it. So as far as I know, Google kept it. I don't know why they wouldn't let me claim it, but they wouldn't let me claim it. They kept making a stupid thing about they couldn't process it or something weird. It was stupid. So I just wanted to advise you maybe just not do that anymore because I'd hate to see you throwing your money away at Google for doing nothing. Yeah, it's but I appreciate it though. I absolutely appreciate it, Shona. I absolutely appreciate the thought and everything. I'm not upset about it at all. I just wanted you to know, just so that you know what Google did, because I thought it was pretty janky. I was like, really, Google? You're just gonna sit there? I mean, because you clearly sent it to my email. It was me. I was logged in as me, and they were refusing to give it to me. I don't know. It was weird. It was strange. But I do appreciate the thought. Absolutely appreciate the thought. And Marissa, I don't know what to say other than maybe because I just made you the moderator, that it needs maybe the next stream it'll take effect. That's my next guess. Pretty much all Captain Crunch. I love peanut butter Captain Crunch. Oh my god. I love peanut butter though. Oh. Reese's peanut butter cups. Oh, you know what? Oh man, I'm all out of peanut butter cups, but I got Reese's sticks. So glad to finally get an answer about the corner. Oh, yeah, you're welcome. The new algorithm makes everything so difficult. It used to take a second to do. Oh, get it together, YouTube. Yeah. It's like when I change my profile pic on Google or YouTube, right? When I change my profile pic, it takes like 2 or 3 days before it really fully takes effect. It's like so weird. Where, Karen? Where are you? I know Mr. Capaldi found some in Britain. I got lots of snacks. Look. Over here. Granola bars. Rice Krispie treats. Snickers. My email is in the information below. In the information below the video there. My email is right. It's there. Australia? Well, maybe you don't have it there. I know Paul Capaldi managed to find some in Britain. I think he said he had to go to like an American store or something like that, but he did manage to find some. I missed the Google thing when refreshing. I'm making me hungry, dude. I haven't eaten dinner yet. I'm starving. Am I sharing? I don't know how I would do that. It cost me $24 to send you your share. All right, folks. So we're gonna go ahead and call it at that point. We've been doing this for let's see here, about an hour and 37 minutes. So I hope to see all of you tomorrow. Hopefully earlier in the day. I hopefully can kick off and go before Laura does. So we can all hopefully have a good little talk tomorrow. Let me ask you this, guys. If we go live tomorrow, what do you guys want to talk about? Or what do you want me to talk about? Laura? Oh, well, you probably don't know. Purple. Won't be talking about baking cakes. Oh, thank you so much, Nick Nugget. Thank you so much. That's very kind. Thank you. Garage photos. Photos in 2 different vehicles and photos. There is a school of thought that believes that there may have been switched out RAV4s. And then there's a lot of people that think that is ridiculous, and those people kind of get into it sometimes. I'm open to either one personally. I think we should get into the phone calls between Barb and Brendan. Now the new ones. Let's talk about Barb on the phone calls. Samurai. Okay. Actually, I would like to talk about Brian Dassey. I wouldn't mind, but I don't know how much. All right. I'll tell you what. I'm going to think about that. I think maybe we might talk a little bit about Brian Dassey and a little bit about the prison phone call to Stephen between Barb and Scott and Stephen. Maybe mix those up a little bit for the conversation tomorrow. Redant? Okay. And we could maybe talk about Redant. Redant's really uninteresting to me, but we could talk about him a little bit. The quiet Dassey brother. Blaine? You know, I did see something about something that Ken was claiming was left out of MAM2 or something like that. I'd like to find that. The fire that caused the cows to break the fence is interesting too. Yeah, that's my Xander Road. I have my Xander Road video. I suppose I could go live and I could put my Xander Road video. Let's see. I could just play it live and then we could all watch it and then talk about it. If I do that, I'll do some testing. I think we might be able to do that if you guys want. Brutus. I keep trying to leave, but when you keep talking, I have to stay. All right, guys. So seriously, I just wanted to get those few ideas from you. So he gave me a few. Okay, that's it. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe. Good night, everybody. It's great to see you. And you all have a good night.